On the topic of kennyS, who obviously you played with for a number of years and was an excellent player, like you said, one of the game changers, you nailed it. The problem he had in his career was, he'll even tell you, like, people think it's just at the end he was like born a CSGO. Dude, I think he first told me in something mad like 2016 that he didn't really care about like playing anymore, but it was just his job and he didn't know like how do I quit? Like, I don't really want to be a streamer. That's also long hours. Like, essentially, because he was just really good. Like, I always used to say he used to just like become like the 12th best player in the world for 6 months, then get motivated again and try just become like 5th best again. Like, there's certain people like him in Shocks, like me and you have to be really good at our jobs and grind and really try hard and improve. These guys can just like try at one point and have like 6 months off, then come back. Like, that's why in some ways they are above a lot of other players. But that was also obviously somewhat Kenny's downfall, because I even used to say to him in his style of play, like, look at what people like Device have done, where they like learn some of the aspects of the game strategically so they can reposition when they're having a bad game. Kenny's problem was he was like a guy who just, I think of him like the player Ronaldinho, if people know him in football, where he was insanely skilled, but you hear all these stories where like he'd never practiced, he would do drinking the night before, essentially he would just do whatever he wanted in the game, and if that was brilliant in the game, you win the game, and if it's not, then you lose the game. And so the problem with Kenny was, even in the game, he just did like what you would do if you had the best AWP ever. You just go to the most obvious spot, they all run on the corner, you just kill all 5 players, and then there you go. But it's like, that can't last forever. It definitely doesn't last when your game goes off the boil, or there's other great players, or your team's just not that good. So one of the things that always hurt me was, I can see now why the online period killed his career, because now none of the games mattered, and now you had to play every single night, and now all these online kids are going to outperform you, and eventually, by the end, he didn't want to play, no one wanted him, and it's just kind of just a whack way for his career to end. Like, even though I like to celebrate him because he retired, I wanted like one last run on LAN, like one last 6 months where he's really good. You explained it before. I mean, literally in Titan, you used to literally be the guy who would jump around the corner on banana, so they shot you so he could peek out and kill the person and start a highlight clip. So in the frag movie, people won't notice apEX is the one that sets up nearly all these frags, and you were doing a great job of it though. So what does Kenny need to be at his best, and what do you think of like the dynamic of his career? Like I said, like, 'cause he's a very unique player compared to other World Counter-Strike players, I feel like.
Yes, obviously. I mean, in terms of talent, pure talents, I think he was really crazily good. It was insanely crazy to meet him, because when I met him was back in 2011, and we were playing on some back then you had like small communities, and with Kenny, everyone was thinking he was cheating, and he was really toxic guy, really young, really toxic. And I took it under my shoulder, I would say, and we did the first line together. His first LAN was a Pixel. It was really non-French LAN, and we won it against Shocks and Smith. And I remember I got destroyed by Smith because he was really stressed. And on those two, most likely, that's when Smith was the best AWP in the world back then. So, but yeah, that's the first time I met him, and he was a really like shy guy, not being able to speak too much, and he was really shy. But he was so talented, and obviously to become the player he was playing so much. I mean, we played so much together on Source. It was pretty insane. We were like not going at school together just to play together the mornings, and we were playing the whole day together, and he was grinding so much. I think with time, most likely, I think what happened for him is that in 14, I think he discovered GERS, which is what can happen to a lot of people.
Classic, and I think French scene curse.
Exactly. And I think he got he got a bad relation, and the girl broke his heart, and it was really tough for him to think about CS. And then he had a kind of downgrade because he didn't care about CS, as you said. He was in really he was feeling shit the way he was in Titan when I joined in the team. And then when he joined the team, I tried to do everything for him to perform. And I think the best years he had was with me in the teams, obviously. And I tried to work with him. I tried to work for him. I tried to give everything. I was just asking him, okay, I'm ready to find tricks, because back then, obviously, we didn't have much analysts, and it was easier to do like new things and do small gimmicks on the game. So I said, just play individually, be strong individually, and me, I will be able to carry you in another way. And we did that together, and we had obviously we were not known as the best duo, because I wasn't fragging like a top 5 player in the world or top 10, but I was doing more for him than anyone else will do for a player. a bit like Taco did for Cordero in some sense. In another way, just baiting and trying to put him in the best condition. And I was doing the same with Kenny, and he became like the best AWPer, and he was at some point the best player in the world in 14. And but I'm just sad that he didn't work just a bit more, like because he was doing really nothing back then, and that's really sad because he could have done so much in the game, but. It's also his decision, and I don't think he regrets it. I think he just lived his best life. He was talented, and it's the way he is. We're not all like you and me. We're not all like hardworking people being ready to do everything. Some people are just talented, and like Ronaldinho, he was the best player at some point, but he had to stop earlier than a lot of players because he was drinking a lot of alcohol and having too much fun. So obviously the body doesn't follow. In CS, obviously, it's a bit different, but obviously it's a really monster game. We have a lot of tournaments, and it's not that easy. And at some point, he was tired, and maybe I don't know if it's only the online era that killed him. I think also it's the meta of the game. I think it wasn't easy to repick as an AWPer. He had to work more to become better. I remember in G2, in the international roster, he was already in the decline. He wasn't as good as before, unfortunately. And yeah, I think that. He just needed to do little more work. He would have been such a fantastic guy. I mean, even more, I think he would have done something that few people would have done because in terms of pure skill, he was above everyone. And that's why I used him so well. And I put myself on the side because I knew I didn't have this talent. But it was fine for me. I was ready to play for him. But yeah, I think if he would have worked just a bit more, he would have become even...
He'd probably be the GOAT, let's be real. Maybe he'd be the GOAT, right?
As you said, as the pure AWPer, I think it was one of the best. Because nowadays, AWPer are a bit different. They're also really good with rifle. I would take the two best, like ZywOo and Simple. If they rifler in the team, it wouldn't change. Yes. It wouldn't change much because the AK aim is crazy. I think that ZywOo is a bit less good than Simple with AWP though. And the other way around as well. Yeah. I think ZywOo is more able to do everything with a rifle. He can do entry, he can clutch, he can do everything. And I think that both of them are really different than others. I think Shiro is also good with rifle and m0NESY as well, but not as good as the others.
Yes.
So yeah, Kenny was like this pure m0NESY. I think we see a lot of kennyS in m0NESY with like this crazy talent. I think m0NESY right now is working his ass off, but we can see those flicks. We haven't seen that for a long time, like those crazy flicks. It's so kennyS, and yeah, it was a pleasure to play with him, even though sometimes we had a lot of fights because I wanted him to play more. And when you a dedicated player like me doing, I mean, you know, working 130, 40 hours per 2 weeks, and you see your teammate playing 50 and doing only the practice, you're like, boy, I'm fine working for you, but just give me a bit, because otherwise I would get crazy. And that's the only thing I regret. But otherwise, when I look back at all of the things, I think, yeah, that was a fantastic moment to play together. I was happy that it was over at some point because I needed a break, kind of, like in a relationship. I needed a break when I got kicked from G2. But yeah, I think that was a fantastic moment to play with him. And obviously, I wished he would have done even more, but it's how it is.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.